Well, good evening. Welcome to another riveting edition of The Ghost and the Goat. I'm your host, Buddy Thayer, paranormal investigator, craft beer enthusiast, welcoming you to join me, to take me by the hand, not the beer hand, take me by the other hand. And together we'll skip into a very paranormal field. Tonight, a little different. So I normally privy you guys with a little bit of sports stuff first. Going to pancake that into the paranormal tonight because our guest tonight is a Patriots fan. And as you may or may not know, the New England Patriots are one of the contestants in this week's Super Bowl. So maybe a little bit of back and forth type of thing. We'll have to offer you later on in the evening, or maybe right as soon as it comes out. Who knows? It's going to come up. So I'm going to save sports. The Celtics are playing the Mavs tonight. Hopefully they continue their winning ways. I got nothing for you on the Red Sox. I think we picked up a right-handed pitcher. But yeah, anyway, more on sports later. In this opening salvo, should I say, in this opening 15 minutes before I welcome tonight's guest, I'm going to talk to you about a little bit of a cause, a little bit of cherry that's close to my heart. So the beer, Three Dudes Brews, that's what the shirt says. You probably can't see it from where you're at because it's kind of an old shirt, but that's okay. Three Dudes Brews is my other podcast. It features myself, the lovely and talented Costas Sangarulli, probably the Greekiest guy I know, and Ed Patnord. And together we travel from brewery to brewery, drinking their delicious beers and learning their insight and their craft and their creativity and all that stuff. You guys take it from me. I love beer. So it's really a great venture for me. We started this last year, this little fundraiser, a local craft beer enthusiast here in Rhode Island. His name is Mark Ambrose. He's a good guy. He's about like 68 years old, but he acts like he's like 28 years old. And not like he acts like it. He's a very mature man. But this guy can put away beers. Anyway, this guy Mark has this wicked tradition for the last few years. He'll go around from brewery to brewery, and he'll like hang out with people, and he'll take selfies with them. So this is Mark. This is Mark and us at Tragmar Brewing. And that's a selfie with Mark. So we got together and we're like, hey, Mark, would you like to make this selfie thing that you do? Maybe make it into like a charity, maybe, dude? He's like, yeah. What do you got in mind? So we did it last year. We're going to do it again this year. Last year we had a bingo space. This year we're not going to have a bingo space. It's going to be straight bingo, boys and girls. This is this year's Mark Ambrose bingo card. This is what you'll get when you buy tickets on the website. You can start buying tickets BT Dubs on February the 16th, which is a Monday at midnight. They go on sale, and they will be on sale until April the 1st. For how many ever tickets that you purchase, you will get another one of these beautiful handcrafted Mark Ambrose bingo cards, which will be randomized with all these different breweries. So the point is, boys and girls, is to go like say, let's find Tragmar. It's right here, right the middle of his nose is Crafted Hope. Just to the left of his nose is Tragmar. So I would take this. No, not this. I would take this selfie that Mark did, and this would be my Tragmar X. So I would mark an X like so on this one, and I would fill in until I got a straight bingo. So that's the idea, guys. First one to get a straight bingo splits the 50-50 pot with Mark's choice of charity, the Ronald McDonald House of Providence. If you don't know what they do, guys, look them up. I'll tell you a little bit about them. They're right over by the Rhode Island Hospital, the Rhode Island Children's Hospital, the Hasbro Hospital, and they basically provide families like a center base to, like, you know, they're coming in from out of town, or they're like maybe they're from like Westerly or something. Their kids up in the hospital. They give them a place to stay and be close to their kid in the hospital, and not have to go back and forth from like work to home to the hospital. And take it from me, guys. I did that for a very long time at part of my life where my wife was in the hospital constantly. I was going from like work to the hospital to home to getting up, going to work, going back to the hospital. I would just live in that three-way cycle, and that you just become a zombie. So to be able to not have to drive home and just to walk across the street, that's amazing. Also, they have a bevy of like social work staff. They have clinicians, medical professionals, all to help your issue as a parent, whatever issues you might have going on outside your child's medical issues. Everything is kind of taken care of there at one spot. And it's all a charity. They all do it for charity. I don't know if they charge people, but they have these services available right there in Provincetown by the hospital. So that's Mark's choice of charity. So whoever claims bingo first, they have to send 3 Dudes Brews their 5 selfies with Mark and their bingo card. We'll have a copy of the bingo card. I'll know who they are, all that silly shit. And when we confirm your bingo, we'll proclaim a winner, and bingo will end. We will bingo until there's a bingo winner. We start bingo live on March the 1st. So it gives you a few weeks, guys, to buy your tickets. Go on. It's on Eventbrite.com. Go right on Eventbrite. Mark Ambrose Bingo. That's what it's called. Check that out. It's a great charity, boys and girls. It's a great way to, even if you're, hey, buddy, I'm not going to be in the area. I don't really drink beer, but I love charities. Let me buy a few tickets and just charity. No, I don't want any bingo tickets. I'm not going to go drink with Mark, which maybe you should, but it's neither here nor there. Just a fun way to get out and do stuff and engage the local craft beer community. So the bingo starts live on March 1st. Mark Ambrose, this is Mark. Again, this old chap with the awful New York Yankees hat. Other than his choices in hats, he's a wonderful guy. He does favor the New York Yankees, which I do not and never will. But check out more updates on the Mark Ambrose Bingo, of course, when it goes up and running, when it does go live. Check out the social media sites for 3 Dudes Brews, my other podcast, and on both Facebook and the Instagram, and it's probably as well on the webpage, www.3dudesbrews.com, and we'll be releasing hints on where you can find Mark. Excuse me. Each weekend before he goes out beering. So just he might not always go right to all these spots, but he's gonna go to like 4 spots this weekend, guys. And here's a little hint on where you might find Mark. So tune in to 3 Dudes Brews. Tune into everything we do. You can tune in this Thursday as we're doing 3 Dudes Brews. The last call. It's our live podcast where we're getting together this week with local craft beer enthusiast and home brewer Chris Hager. He does a lot of German stuff, guys. He went over to Germany in the military when he was a kid. He came back a beer lover. We're gonna get together and talk to him. But that's it. That's all I got for you guys on the beer scene, on what's going on the beer scene. We went to actually one last thing. We did go to I'm drinking this Newport Craft called Road Rage. It's pretty damn special. I don't want to have too many because it's a double IPA, and Buddy's going to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, before that, and go to the gym. So too many beers makes my gym experience not too fun. But anyway, we went to this tremendous event at the Providence Water Fire Center called the what was it called? The Rhode Island Brew Fest. I've been several years running now, and it's let me tell you, boys and girls, there's like 50 brewers there, and each one has a little bit of something else. While they're not pouring these, they're only pouring like this. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, my God. By the end of that 3-hour stand, I was definitely 3 Dudes Brews deep in beer. But it was all fantastic. Great beer, great times, great people. Good to see a ton of people all together in one area, a ton of people that I know, a ton of great people all together in one area. So, yeah, that was a good time. Speaking of a good time, I'm going to just switch gears now because sports is going to be incorporated into the main part of the show this evening. So without any further ado, my guest this evening, my co-host, who I normally introduce about now, she had a bit of a stomach bug. So take care of yourself, feel better, ladies. So Jai, I hope you're feeling better, dear. Hope your tummy is better. But tune in. This is going to be a great show. So tonight's guest, he has been an empath for his whole life, and he is dedicated to the unusual and unexplained, but will be the first to tell you that he is open-minded skeptic when it comes to the paranormal and feels that simple answers are there. We just haven't found them yet. Oh, my God. I could have a whole conversation on just that. Anyway, the journey down the rabbit hole started with a chance meeting and friendship with a world-renowned paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren, developing the building blocks to his sensitivity and skills to help the living and the dead. His career started in the emergency medical field, and then corrections as a psychiatric state prison confinement unit. He has specialized in trauma, crisis management, forensic psychology, offender and criminal profiling as a behaviorist. Other than the behaviorist spot, so do I. Anyway, going on. Additionally, he has spent over 40 years studying and putting into practice parapsychology, demonology, shamanistic practices, spiritual life coach, historic diversity, paranormal investigations, audio, visual analysis. I'm sorry, that just flew out like that. My apologies. And advanced historical research. The paranormal field has blessed him to be part of this very high-profile historic cases, such as the Enfield Demon House, the Lizzie Borden House. We had them on a few weeks ago. The Mount Washington Hotel, been there. The Alva House, used to work right up the road from there. The John Proctor House, the Crocker Tavern, the Connecticut Triangle, the Murder House, the Enfield Entity, Portal at the Gallery, Time Slip at Millwrights, Body in the Basement. That sounds awesome and horrifying at the same time. Old Well Tavern. He has appeared on Paraflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube, and numerous podcasts of paranormal and true crime, nationally and internationally, and has contributed and wrote forwards for best-selling print publications. He is the principal owner and lead investigator for Archangel Paranormal. He is also the shaman with production tour and events group, the Shaman and the Showman LLC, with Charles Rosenay as the showman, Connecticut Paracon, and True Crime Conference. Jesus, what have I been doing all my life? Witch Festival, Salem's Paranormal and Horror Convention, and Connecticut's Psychic Fairfest. He's co-host of Serial Killers Supernatural and Murderers podcast on All Access Networks television. That sounds amazing. He is the Circle Keeper and principal shaman / spiritual life coach, ordained minister with Wardruna. I'm probably not saying that right. National Healing Network. Buddy Thayer, please welcome to the show, Thomas Patrick Gormley. Tom, how you doing, dude?
Great. How about yourself?
Yeah, dude, that's a hell of a resume going on there.
Well, I just want to be like a character in Game of Thrones, all the titles.
So the paranormal. Let me start there. You got in. It says you from a very early age. How did you get started? How did it start for you?
I was the weird kid.
Yeah, a lot of us were, believe it or not. But go on.
Yeah, the weird nerd kid, whatever. But I picked up on other people's emotions and didn't know it at the time, and just thought I was the wacky kid.
Yep.
Thought something psychologically was going wrong with me or whatever, trying to figure it out. I had a couple of friends that were older than me at the time. I was 14, and a couple older friends in the neighborhood, probably Halloween, wanted to take us to go see this haunting couple and tell us their stories at a college, and ended up being Ed and Lorraine Warren. After you get to meet him backstage, and Lorraine skipped everybody, came up to me and says, "Hey, honey, you've been having problems." So she started to explain it. And then over the next couple of years before I went off to college, once, twice a year, I would head over to the house, and she would really help me out, understanding what the gifts are. And then when I went off to college, I kind of lost track of them. But then when I came back, I started feeling the calling to help people at their residential cases and try and figure out those things, and developing my ability to the point where I was able to help spirits tell their story and be able to help them transition. So that became what I was known for in the paranormal, to the point where there's a lot of locations where people pay to play, I like to call them.
Yeah, right. Sure.
My friend Danny says that all the time. And they don't allow me in. They think I'm going to come in and make all their spirits go away, which
Danny Perez.
Danny Perez from the Radicals. So,
I know them. Those guys are great. You're right. You're right in the next state over. I'm in Rhode Island. You're down in Connecticut. Yeah. I
was in Connecticut. I actually recently moved to be with my significant other, who was also the other co-founder of Wardruna, the healing group that we run nationally and internationally. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the famous Christmas Story house, the leg lamp. That's all around me. So
It's not a bad town, dude. Cleveland gets a bad rap a lot of times because it's Cleveland. But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, awesome. The stadium's awesome. The sports down there, awesome. The Football Hall of Fame, awesome. That's actually further down. But awesome area. I'm not a big fan of the Ohio State University at all. But it's all right. It's all right.
Neither am I. I haven't dived in that deep yet in the state of Ohio. I'm still a very much Connecticut guy, New England guy. New England Patriots, Celtics, UConn sports and stuff, and that's been me for a long time. So
yeah, you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that around New England. It's quite the oh my God, quite the title, quite the championship region in the last 4 or so years. Jesus. I am not a Patriots fan. Let me just make that quick announcement. Despite being from the heart of New England, I'm actually a Dolphins fan. Why I still can't muster a response worthy to make any sense. But I've always been a Dolphins fan, and oh man, we had 5 years to do something, Tom, and they totally didn't do anything. Nobody did anything. And the Patriots rose back again, and here we go, another Patriots Super Bowl. Oh,
I'm loving it because I grew up. I age myself here, but I just turned 55. Oh, so for my young life, you start getting into sports and the Patriots because my dad was a Giants fan, so I had to root for somebody different. So
right, of course.
That battle between father and son, and so I took on the Patriots, and they sucked for years. So
yes,
I remember there was one season they only won 2 games. And those are the only 2 games they allowed Doug Flutie to play. But, but I remember running around in my yard at a young age, just before, the late 70s and the 80s, and they finally got in the Super Bowl against the Bears, the Super Bowl shuffle and all that back in the day. Yep. But I had my Steve Grogan jersey, Stanley Morgan, John Hanna, all those guys. And
all right, then I can respect you a little bit. I respect the old school New England fans who were there through the shit. And they understand what it means to lose and still be a fan for a significant amount of time. It's the pink hat Pats fans that I really can't stand. The bandwagon jumpers. Oh, they're winning. I'm going to be a fan now, and I'm going to tell you how much your team really sucks, even though I don't even know anything about your team.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and man, I tell you, I get excited for every Super Bowl. This is going to be a big one because this is going to say a lot. We're talking no Tom Brady, no Bill Belichick, and
right.
We're
and
talking
not to mention, dude. Like I said it all. Yeah, I give the Patriots a lot of credit because they've really kicked ass in the playoffs. But they had a really easy schedule, like a good part of the season. I mean, they did beat the Bills, but the Dolphins beat the Bills. So let's be realistic. They did beat some tough teams, but most of their schedule was pretty damn cushy, and I don't think a lot of people have faith that the Patriots are really up to par for a Super Bowl run. Do you think that was just like whatever? What do you think that's what's your thoughts on that?
Well, you're talking about chemistry with players. Doesn't matter what the schedule is. They're all grown men. They're all been signed to be professional football players. So any given Sunday, right?
True.
So.
Right.
You got to have that chemistry together. The coaching staff's got to be on the same page. It's lightning in a bottle sometimes.
Oh my God!
But the Patriots seem to catch it a lot. So, and I think it's going to go forward. Also,
dude, that coaching staff is, oh my God, it's second to none. They took a shit team, a 4-14, and turned them into AFC champions, Super Bowl bound, possible. I tell people they could win. I'm not going to root for them to win. I might pick them in the spread because it's 4.5 points, and I think it'll be close. What do you think? What are your thoughts, Tom? Do you think they're going to win? Do you think they have a chance?
Well, considering I'm a shaman, my significant other's a shaman, and
so you can see.
I have blue going right now. I had to make sure I had the blue on tonight. So after reading your stuff about sports, I know you're a big sports fan. And both of us, for me being too close to the pitcher and being a fan, I put it on my significant other, Stacia, and she says she's had a vision for when the playoffs started that a team that wears blue is going to win. So, and they're the only team. Well, you got the Seahawks, but
Seahawks going to wear blue too. That's
you saw red, white. I think she said she saw red, white, and blue. So, and that's more the Patriots than the Seahawks.
That is definitely, yeah. I don't know. All mediumship aside, no
Mhm.
disrespect. I think the Pats still have a definitive chance of winning.
Yeah.
Drake May is a pretty damn good quarterback. He's mobile. He can throw under pressure. He can run. He's phenomenal. Mike Vrabel, holy shit, dude, amazing. He's got a ton of Super Bowl experience. Josh McDaniels has coached like 25 as an assistant coach championship team. So I mean, like, I think it's possible for them at least to cover the spread.
Well, if it is close near the end of the game, they'll just pull Malcolm Butler out of the stands and put him on the 1 yard line.
The dumbest decision in football history ever. Just hand the ball off. God damn it.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. But you
Oh
never
my
know.
God,
They could have done it the other way, and he could have got stopped too. So we won't
Yeah,
know.
it could have always gone either way, and every other time. It does on the Celtics. They you mentioned you're a Celtics fan.
Mhm.
Are they? I honestly, I'm quite surprised without Tatum. Tatum is supposed to be back in March. Do you think they can make a serious run at the playoffs? What are your thoughts on the Celtics?
You know how I'm feeling about it. You know, again, it's a team with good chemistry, so you never know. But somebody, you know, a lot of the players are going to have to step up. You know, when you don't have a player like Tatum on the floor, it makes it a little difference. But again, it's another team with chemistry and good coaching. So,
Yeah,
you know, it's almost like it's a must in New England. So,
for sure.
Same thing with the Bruins. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Bruins. Yeah, I'm not. I only follow hockey really if it's the playoffs. Hockey's.
Yeah.
I'll take my clients. I work in mental health. I'll take my clients. I'm taking them the 22nd of this month. We're going to go see the Providence Bruins. It's always a good game. It's cheap. The Boston Bruins is exact opposite. It's not cheap at all. It's ridiculous to attend the game up in Boston, but it's a good time. Good time down in Providence. So. You know, whatever. Let me go. I'm gonna flip back to the paranormal now, Tom. Your experiences with the Warren with Lorraine specifically. How did she make it more clear for you? Did she like build on your skills? What did she specifically
Well,
do?
she did make it a lot clearer for me. Just a lot in the paranormal. One of our main jobs is people call us because they have fear. Once you get the fear away, then it clears a lot of things up. And I think when you have abilities and you don't know what's going on, it's getting that understanding. She helped me understand it, take the fear away. You know, help me develop to the point where exercises to do, because as an empath, you know, some people that know, when you go out in the public, I like to call it's a little too people-y out there for me sometimes. So I have to protect myself, ground myself, and know who I am. And over the years, I've developed to the point where I know who I am. I look in the mirror. I know who I am. I'm comfortable with that. And, you know, that put that bubble around you to be able to do the work.
Oh, for sure. Do you notice, like, when you're not ghosting at all and you're just out and about, do you notice like larger crowds? Is that a problem for you, or like emotionally like difficult situations?
It is.
More challenging.
It depends. It's like out here, you know, you pick up on the negative energy. A lot of times in areas where there's a lot of strife, or, you know, people having a hard time, like there's a Walmart that I go to here in Ohio is a lot different than other Walmarts that I go into. I could feel the energy. It's just people are having a harder time at life, and you could pick up on it. Whereas you go to another area that's not as lower income or a higher income area where people aren't having as hard of a time, you could really pick up on the feel, the energy, especially, you know, you pick up on the energy of our country. You know, certain areas aren't as good as others. And unfortunately, I pick up on that, and I really don't ever have a political opinion or anything like that. It's just the energy, and you just hope people find a way to get over that and be better. Because I always say there's two things in life that are going to come at you if you keep it simple. Two things. You have a life. What you have to do is you either let it eat you alive or you overcome it. Those are your two options.
Yeah, that's pretty cut and dry, dude. Do you become you feel the emotions of the living when you do you pick up on like their like do their anxieties become your anxieties? Do you become like nervous? Do you become anxious because they're anxious, or is it like that?
It is, and over time as you develop, I know it's not my feeling; it's coming from somebody else. It's like I could go and a friend's, not doing well, and I could sit beside him and just talk to him, knowing that something's not going well. I pick up on it right away, so I could prepare myself just to be there for him, and know that that's the feeling I'm picking up on, and I don't have to ask all these questions to get to what's going on. It's like I'm already feeling it. And I want to be there for, my friends or my family when that happens.
For sure. Now, what about for the dead? Can you pick up on emotions that are still lingering in those who have passed?
Yeah, definitely. I really look at it this way. In theory, we always got to say theory because paranormal, you're never 100% right or wrong about it. Why it's paranormal. But when the spirits do come through, they come through just like you and I.
Yep.
Whether we're using a device or whether we pick up it psychically, the difference is their meat suit is gone. We still have ours. So the people that are stuck still might have that trauma that's holding them back.
Oh, for sure.
That shadow of it. I like to compare it to Peter Pan. Peter Pan's separate from his shadow. It's said that when we pass pure, but sometimes our trauma holds us back. So we split into two, where we have the shadow of ourself that's holding us, and we have to cut the cord with that. So we have to get to the bottom of the story. What's your story? What's holding you back? What'll help you go on? What's your free will that you could go on? A lot of times they don't know that. They need to be told. I've helped spirits pass by showing them their death certificate because they didn't know they were dead.
Do you find that the common thing that when the ghost doesn't know they're dead?
Yeah, that's one of them. Or they're afraid of judgment, or they're not ready to leave because they're waiting on loved ones and they don't want to cross over to wherever that is. I still don't know where there is. Doing what I do, I get to the point where it's like it's almost I'm at the porthole to show them, but I can never see what's beyond it. So it's like opening the veil for them and saying, hey, go this way, leading that horse to water, and then they have to make that free will decision to cross over. It's not up to me. I just give them the words that my spirit guides tell me. It's not me. I'm a conduit. They just speak through me, and whatever comes to my head. I'm a songwriter too.
Yeah.
I tell other songwriters the best way to describe when the words come to me is when you're writing a song. You write a song, you're like, where did that come from? It's just the words are coming, and you just say what comes to mind when you're in context or you're in front of something or dealing with something.
Wow, that's pretty. So if a spirit crosses over, they can't come back, or how does that? Do you know how that works?
No. What it is a lot of people, they're never going to come back. I really believe after all this time, this is my own belief systems, and I always tell people, even when I give talks, everything I'm about to tell you is what I've experienced and what's happened to me. I don't expect anybody to believe it, but that's what happened to me. But I really think when they do make transition, it's almost like they level up, just like us. When we do the work, we level up, we get the good job, we get the raise, we're always leveling up, trying to improve in life. Even after death, we're still trying to improve, and it's almost like, I hate to call it like a game of Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
You're on level 1, you get to the point, like, you might have screwed up and you took a life, and then you have to go back to level 1. But this time, the level better and you can get up quicker. You're always constantly trying to improve.
Makes sense.
But and a lot of times, even when spirits pass on, the loved ones never leave you. They're always by you in some way or another.
I would bet 110. Yeah, I absolutely 110%.
Yeah, in some capacity or another. Sometimes when they speak to us through our spirit guides, because our ancestral ties never leave us. So you're always tied to your ancestors.
Do you believe that, like, so say, like, you're with your partner or whatever, do you believe that your spirits, once they pass on, you'll be like reborn and maybe end up together again in a different capacity? Do you believe that that's the thing? I know this.
Well, my partner that I'm with now, there's been past life regressions. There's been people that have told us, and we know it ourselves. We've been together in some capacity for lifetimes, at least.
I mean,
lifetimes.
That's what they say. I'm not I'm not saying it's not true. I've heard this about myself and about other loved ones. I'm just like I'm like the show me kind of guy. Not that I want to see my bad, not that I want to die or anything, but more of a show me, believe me kind of thing. But I had a wife, and she passed away. It'll be 7 years in May. And I've had more holy shit experiences since her passing, and probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I was seeing this psychic this medium. His name's Roland Comtois. He's absolutely phenomenal, and he had sent me a bunch of messages, very poignant, very personal. He wouldn't come up to you and ask you. He would come up to you and tell you like holy shit, intimate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about how she had crossed over to heaven and found new ways to communicate with us, and then like friends started like getting like text messages, or they get pictures on their phone. Like, do you believe that this crossover allows them to? I don't know. Do they communicate better with us? Do they? I don't know.
Let's put it this way. The best way to describe it to anybody in Star Wars, when Obi-Wan Kenobi said to Darth Vader before he shut him down, says,
Yep.
"You kill me now, I become more powerful."
Yep.
Our loved ones don't have the trauma stuff holding them back anymore to guide us. They're always by our side. They're always looking out for us. There's no such thing as a coincidence. Sometimes they're helping us on our path. What is that?
There's so many coincidences. I'm like, is this a coincidence? No, there's no coincidence. It's so it's so like weird. So many like, holy shit, look at this. It's like I think of Heather immediately. Is this Heather?
Yeah.
It probably is, right? Yeah.
Did she have like a favorite flower, favorite song, things like that?
Yeah. She was a big Stones fan.
Mm-hmm.
She we had a thing with dimes where I was being told when in her lifetime that like a spirit was leaving me dimes, and then there were a bunch of weird things that happened around the dimes with her.
Yeah.
She was very like, she had a lot of experiences, like hundreds more than I ever did. So I think she was like, and she'd like know things like on investigations that she wouldn't know, like the kid next door who died in the First World War, and where he died in the First World War. She wouldn't like know anything about that. Anything. I didn't know at the time, and she'd pull out these facts that like, I don't know. So I think she was a little bit connected in her own lifetime to begin with, but so many like dreams. I find dimes, like the dime thing. Songs will come on the radio, or like I'll have like, I've had like moments where I've like been driving to work and just like lose my shit. I'm like, Heather, I just need a sign. I just need something.
Mm-hmm.
And, like the next day, like her best friend will call me and say, "Hey, I had this amazing dream about Heather, and she just wanted me to tell you you're doing so well, and she loves you so much. I hope that means something to you." I'm like, "Holy fuck, you have no idea, dude. You have no idea."
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. Loved ones, they leave those moments, because I was about to ask you what was going on in your life at the time that you had the dimes come to you, or maybe that favorite Rolling Stones song coming on the radio, or any of those types of things. They're there when you feel down and can't go on, or you're celebrating something. They're there. You just have to pay attention.
Well, birthdays or anniversaries, stuff like that.
Yeah, most of us don't pay attention. That's why we miss it. So,
or like a smell. People have like reported to me, like, I have a nephew, and he's like, I was in the car riding the other day, and he's like, I smelled Heather, and then like Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd came on. That was like one of her. She loved that. So obviously, it's like, all right, maybe the smelling her, maybe the radio is like coincidence, but smelling her, having that, and like that smell hasn't been around for like 6 years now. So I mean, I don't know.
That has been from the beginning of time. A lot of people do. They have that memory, that essence. It happens to me all the time when my grandmother comes to me. When we were younger, between my cousins, we would get paired up and stay with my grandmother so my parents could get a reprieve, because we were crazy kids.
Yeah,
but we would stay with my Sicilian grandmother, and she'd chase us with the wooden spoon and stuff. to get her reprieve, she would go outside and smoke Parliament cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
Before she come in, so we don't smell the cigarettes on her breath, so she wasn't influencing in any way. She would put a lifesaver in her mouth, but you could still smell the cigarettes and the mint from the lifesavers. And just ever so often, I could smell the mint and cigarettes like right by me, like she's sitting by me. And it seems to always happen when I need guidance. So I know she's there guiding,
Mhm.
and just like a lot of my other relatives, ancestors from over the years, they just keep us on our path. We just have to pay attention.
Oh, for sure. A couple weeks after she passed, I was supposed to go camping for a camping trip with a friend. It was my birthday. Heather was going to cook all. She was going to prepare all the food and stuff. And then at her funeral, it was like 2 weeks before we were supposed to go. It was 2 weeks before my 20th birthday. She passed away, and he's like, dude, do you still want to go? I'm like, yes, I definitely need to go. I definitely need to get away. So we went up there, me and my best friend, and this other cat, and it's like remote camping, remote fishing, some of the best, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
And way the hell up in northern New Hampshire, Maine, way in the middle of nowhere. Northern New Hampshire, northern Maine, early June. Up there, it's like New England in like March, so it's still rather cold. It's freezing every night. Some of the best fishing all year round. But anyway, so it's very cold. So you don't see a lot of like. It's not too many bugs. They haven't really set in heavily until mid to late June. And I don't. It's maybe there's butterflies, but I've never seen butterflies this time of year. And there was like a whole swarm of butterflies. There was one butterfly following us all around the lake. One day we were fishing. Another day, when he had to leave, he got in the boat and he went across, and it was like the waves were like this, and he was scared. And he's like, dude, we go back to base camp. And he's like, dude, this butterfly, it followed me the whole way. Followed me across this huge lake, followed me down the river. He's like, I'm unpacking my boat. It's flying all around me. He's like, I'm ready to leave. I'm looking at it. He's like, it comes in and flies around me like 3 times, and then it goes out to the lake. At the same time, I'm out at the site with this other guy waiting for our transport, and I'm out there fishing, and this butterfly comes off the lake. It comes through the campsite. It comes around me 3 times, and then it flies right back out into back into like that was like a hell of a coincidence. But I got back to base camp, and he's like, dude, you never believe what happened to me. I'm like, dude, you never believe what happened to me. And we told each other the story. It's like, you think that was Heather? I'm like, yeah, I think so. So since then, I'll have other friends tell me, hey, buddy, I was like having a shit day, or I was worried about this, I was worried about that, the other thing. And I saw a yellow butterfly come floating over. And he's like, I just thought of Heather, and I just knew everything was going to be okay. And then the butterfly flew away. I'm like, dude, that was Heather. That was definitely Heather. There's no, it's my wife. It's my wife. So I guess I'm a little bit bias, I guess you could say. But yeah, I definitely think that's the spirit world coming through and saying, hey, what's up? I'm still here.
A lot of people have that connection with the butterflies coming through because they're reborn like almost like every year. They go into the chrysalis, so they don't live long. So there's more opportunity to, have spirit come into that or show itself. Same thing with a dragonfly. Anything like that. I'll give you my butterfly story along with it, because yours is incredible because it's your wife that potentially came through. You can't get better than that love of your life coming through like that and being with you and making sure you guys were safe on your trip. For me, my mom had passed away, and I was having a hard time at a job I was working at, and I was just sitting in the parking lot and just had my hands in the steering wheel, wondering, what am I doing with my life? Kind of that moment. And this is in November in Connecticut. So, New England weather, how cold it is.
Oh, yeah.
On the tip of my car, landing on the hood, was a monarch butterfly.
Wow.
So I'm thinking to myself, there is no way that a monarch butterfly could still be alive in November. But there it was sitting in front of me. So I knew it was my time to change my path. And I'm glad that I did, because it led me to a lot of other things. Because at the time, my mother had just passed. And that moment led me to say, enough is enough. I need to do my calling as a shaman more. I need to go out and help more people. I need to do it in the memory of my mom. And, she took her own life. So I need to be there for people psychologically.
Sorry, dude.
As I'm doing the work, I met my significant other, Stacia, who over 20 years was thinking of this healing network, and knowing what my mom went through and people that she's dealt with, we put this group together. has the most diverse group of shamans. We have medical doctors, therapists, hypnotherapists, people that do EMDR, everything you could think of. So to the point where if she's reading somebody and really what's coming through, a lot of people that go to readers, or the psychics and the mediums are the people that feel like, I can't go see a psychiatrist. It's that stigma.
Yeah.
Or they go see somebody like Stacia and any of the other readers that are out there, and then you figure out, geez, this person really has PTSD. They need to get some help. So when she helps take the stigma away, and we're able to guide them to somebody in our Rolodex that's a therapist that believes in the paranormal or these types of things, where they don't think they're crazy and know that, hey, that stuff does exist. Let's work our way through this properly, and let's see what we could do, whether it be through hypnotherapy, EMDR, or just a past life regression, just to see where you're at and where the ancestors screwed up on you, and to point you into the right direction to change your path for the better. And that's what we do as that Wardruna group.
Okay, so you've mentioned a few times. I'm mildly familiar with what a shaman is. Could you define shamanism and being a shaman and what it is that you do as a shaman?
Shaman is different for everybody. Shaman is just a word. Actually, a lot of people, when you say shaman, they think Native American Indians. It really isn't. Most Indians, Native Americans, don't refer to themselves as shaman. They call themselves healers, medicine men, medicine women, whatever. The word shaman is actually from Siberia. It's a Russian word. That's where it started. So a lot of them refer to shamans, but there's other countries they call it different things. My better half is she's of Rusin blood, which is the Carpathian Mountains. She's almost 11th generation, what they call the Mothor, which is one of the most magical, to the point where they were so magical. The Carpathian Mountains just on the border of Ukraine and Poland. So during the wars, they were gathered up along with the Jews and put in concentration camps because of the fear that they might be able to magically make the Nazis go away or something. So, so there's history of that. And, even with her, there's people that fly from other countries to come and sit with her. So, which is great. And then just the both of us together doing this and helping others with Wardruna, we have a whole group of people on our Rolodex that help, whether it be, home case, paranormal case, doesn't matter what it is. A lot of times, if you've ever done home cases, 95% of the time it's trauma-based, or some kind of thing going on. So a lot of people, we don't know what our mind does. So as I said in my bio, I'm an open-minded skeptic. I just think there's things that we see now that it is weird to us, but as we study it more and go forward and do the work and do the right things, then it makes sense. I think of it this way. Think of 100 years ago in the medical field. Doctors used to think bloodletting would cure people. But now we know differently because they did the work to find that out. I know the paranormal in our lifetimes will probably never be agreed upon, but there is things that we've done, over the last...
There are sciencey people who will say that the paranormal is a thing for sure. That gets pushed aside far too often because I think people associate with the paranormal with shit that's on TV. Which clearly it's not all real on TV because it's it's meant for entertainment purposes.
Well, it is. It is. There's a lot of times there's producers that tell these guys, I have some friends that have been on TV. I won't name names, but they've been told to do things that it's against what they really want to do, and a lot of them have left shows because of that. But again, hey, if you're getting a paycheck and you need to keep a roof over your head, you do whatever you have to do for so long. I think, yes, they are entertainment. You're talking about maybe they film for 3-5 days. And there, of course, there's commercials on these shows. So you're looking at maybe 42 minutes of what they've gotten over 3 to 5 days. So, of course, it's going to look exciting. But, if you've done this, and I know you said you've done this, you'll be sitting in a room for 5 hours
years.
and nothing happens.
My God. Nothing. Nothing. But you review countless hours of video and it's absolutely not a thing. to look at. And like,
Yeah.
oh, is that an orb? No, dude, it's not an orb. It's a piece of dust. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll never knock anybody if they're on a show, they're doing, I just want people to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're not doing the work, there's a lot of people that will, hey, you know, this, and that. It's like, are you doing the work? Have you tried this?
People that will hype up legends and not actually research and like,
Yeah.
oh, man was hung here. And it's not always always that exciting, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know, you really got to do the research, because when you go into a home, I don't want to have to, what's your name? I'd like to throw some names out there that I know of people that lived in the house.
Yes.
Like Joe Smith lived here. I said, Joe, are you here? So that way I could kind of figure out what era I'm talking to, or if there's somebody I have to help.
If I can find like obituaries from the people who live there, that's a great amount of information in a person's life. Yeah. I remember we had a residential case in Lincoln, Rhode Island, and it was a triple decker. And the guy that lived on the third floor, he was this old crotchety old guy for years and years. He finally died. But for years, he was like a hockey coach.
Nice.
Lincoln. And that's all the stuff that we talked about. Nothing responded when we started talking about him being a hockey coach. Bam, everything went off.
Exactly.
Every EVP came through with that, you know, all the gadgets went off, everything, all the fun stuff lit up. So yeah, you really gotta. I always like to research the people who always had lived there and then go as far back on the land as possible. But unfortunately, not every town or city has the same immaculate, amazing records as the next.
Well, it's just like anything, you know, we're trying to talk to spirits, and like I told you, we're the only really difference is they're vibrating whatever frequency they're vibrating on, and we're trying to match the frequency so we could communicate with them. But, you know, it's just like you and I. We get to know each other. We find common ground, and we know what gets each other to talk. Well, your big thing is sports. And I know that's going to that's going to bring up your level of frequency and energy. I do this with spirits. They're more apt to talk. If I'm demanding, I'm not going to get anything. If I'm talking about history of the house, hey, I remember you did this rose garden in the yard, then they might start talking, because that was their love during life. And that's going to get them to talk more. Or we joke with them.
Antagonistic or trying to. Yeah, I tell people, I'm like, don't be afraid. Don't attack them. They're just people. Like, all they are is people. They might be dead and you can't see them, but you're talking to people. And if you treat them with respect, there's a good chance that you're going to get it in return.
Yeah.
Or just, hey, you're bothering me. Go away. Please. And sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. But I mean, you know, sometimes they do listen, because they're just people.
Exactly. It's if anything, I've noticed over the years where we go in and people go in and they're doing it all serious, asking the questions, and everybody's serious, and then they stop, and then they act like themselves with their friends alive that are there, and they start laughing, and then all of a sudden you're getting evidence. They want to party with you. You know, my significant other, we've traveled over 18 states, I think, in the last 2 months. You know, going to different hotels, and we always hook up at the hotels that we know are haunted. You know, we're reaching out to the spirits. We're having a good time. We're laughing. I think we had a dead bell going on in Niagara Falls, so nobody was ringing the dead bell. It finally rang when we were talking to one of the cooks that came up and was watching what we were doing. And then we asked him again, "Okay, can you ring the bell?" And you hear through the spirit box a spirit go ding. I said, "No, actually ring the bell. Don't say ding." So, you know, we're having fun, and, you know, and they're having fun with us. You know, and that's what's going to get evidence. That's what's not done. That's not what you're going to see on TV. They just want to be at that frequency again, where they love life and all that. You know, there's even to the point you said you like beer. There's been cases where, unfortunately, there's been spirits that actually have, you know, gone into other people's bodies for just that moment to taste beer again, in theory. So there's people that walked into bars and never drank whiskey before and decided they wanted to get whiskey that day.
If I can do that, Tom, if you're telling me I can do that, I'm going to linger here on Earth for.
Yeah, I think you should do that.
All of eternity, my friend.
Many years from now, when your time comes, make sure that you hop in this living person's body and have your beer.
Dude, chug a beer. What I also found really like incredibly fascinating and coincidental, not coincidental really, because whatever, but fascinating is that you worked in forensic psychology, Tom. I also worked in forensic psychology for a while. I worked at the Bridgewater State Hospital in Massachusetts.
Oh, really? That's a big one. So,
Most educational experience I ever got in mental health.
Yeah.
I was after I left there, I wanted to be a psych nurse, and then I went and now I'm working on a master's degree for clinical mental health counseling because I don't want to do all that other nursey shit. But what did you do? What explain to me how you got into forensic psychology and
Well, I have a few degrees in just psychology, and then when I moved down to Florida after a divorce, I started working for the Department of Corrections down there, and I went and did some added training for crisis management.
Yep.
So I went through a little bit more psychology to get a certificate for forensic psychology at University of Central Florida, which is a big college for that type of field. So you go through your psychology and your forensic, and learning from that, and then applying it. Working at a prison, and I got some training also through FBI and all that to be able to profile. Cool. So one of the things you do is you would profile inmates. So if a crisis happened, you were going to know how to deal with it because you already had the data on that particular inmate, whether it's there at the prison I was working at or part of Region 3, which I was responsible for. So, and then after I left and moved back up to Connecticut, where I was originally from, so I went down from Connecticut to Florida, back to Connecticut over those years. Yep. And I started profiling historic serial killers or murderers.
Really?
Yes. Which
oh wow!
Which turned into a point. Yeah, and I've had people call me for cold cases or just to get a feel off of what's going on in a particular case. To the point where I met a friend of mine at a Mass Paracon, and she wanted me to come on her show, and it turned into a podcast after that called Serial Killers, Supernatural, and Murderers, where the show was them giving like the history, and then we talk about their childhood and up to the time they started murdering people, and I would tell them this is why it happened. This is what happened in childhood. This is the catalyst to get them to change and start doing that serial homicide or just that particular murder or mass murder or anything like that. Recently with the new year coming, I left that show, but with the same network starting on the first Thursday of March, I'll be bringing the show back, but it'll just be me, and it's going to be called Profiled with Thomas Patrick. Wow. And I will be going over how I profile people, the history of it, how to recognize a psychopath, just, the looks in people's eyes and what to look out for. Keeping people protected.
I had a 12-year-old. I was working in a residential treatment. This is going back years ago. And it was him and his twin brother. His twin brother went to my mother's group home, which was like the lesser offensive kids. And I was at the batter of the boys programs. This kid's eyes would get a glaze, and then they would almost like roll back into his head, and he would just attack people. And he was a little thin. He was like 110 pounds, little nothing. He would like jump kids that were like 4 times his size. He'd get his ass kicked, but he would still keep doing it. And then years later, he was in the bathroom at a Cumberland Farms, and he walked out of it. This is like a mile from my house. He walked out of the Cumberland Farms bathroom. He got in line. The guy in front of him, he was like a 53-year-old vet. Me and him went to the same barber across the street. This kid pulled out a giant 10-inch kitchen blade and stabbed this guy in the back of the neck. Schizophrenia. Never medicated himself. Self-medicated with drugs and alcohol. Now he's at Slater for probably the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You get those tendencies, but it really comes out, in that early 20s. But
late teens, early 20s, yeah. And that's primarily the population I work with now. I work in a group home with adults, and they all have schizophrenia or schizoaffective of some kind.
Yeah, they do. And then, but it's not really at that time either. If you've had issues with drugs or things, there's later development, late onset schizophrenia too.
Or like K2 induced psychosis. That's another one. That's one I met at Bridgewater State Hospital.
Yeah,
but a kid who was like no history of mental health, was living in New Hampshire, going to school in New Hampshire, did some K2, probably did something else, got in a car,
Yep.
drove over the mass border, started speeding on the highway. Stadies pulled him over. He crashed through a yard. He crashed through a fence into a yard. The Stadies went in and followed him, and they found him jumping on the trampoline, buck naked.
Yeah.
Like, get down, get off. He wouldn't. He kept doing it, and they tased him. They brought him to Bridgewater. He was there for like probably 5 to 6 months. Crazy, out of control behaviors, unbelievable with like bodily fluids. I'm not gonna mention all the awful things he did, but they finally gave him ECT, and it was the ECT after like about 3 treatments, zapped his brain out of the psychosis, and he's like, "Where am I? How did I get here?" And he was like completely competent, completely like he was a completely different person. It's unbelievable.
Well, it is. It's that the drugs could do it, or a big trauma could create you to totally disassociate to the point where nothing exists. That's the same thing we run into during what people consider this is a demonic case or anything. You have to discern, because a lot of times it's psychological. They've disassociated, just like you just said. They're not possessed, even though they forget everything they did on a disassociation. It isn't necessarily a possession. Those are things you have to discern.
That's the key question now. As a psychologist, as a paranormal guy, how do you discern between paranormal, a demon, or a mental health condition?
Well, a lot of times it's being checked by an actual medical doctor. That's a given before an exorcism could be done. But again, we're talking about, I'm a shaman, so it's if I have to do something, I'm not waiting for somebody to give me the blessing to do it. It's a different type of thing. Some other religions may not agree on that, but you do what you have to do to help somebody that might be in that position. But that's a whole nother bag of cookies and a whole nother episode of talking about. But you really look on the psychological side. Yeah, the psychological side of it is a majority of the time. The chances of something possessing you that's not of this world or has never been in this world is slim to none. Might as well buy the lottery ticket. That's why they rate movies about it.
Yeah. So it's really not as common as a lot of people think.
No, it's not as common. Not everybody gets possessed, and possession.
People like to throw the D word around so friggin' often.
It really isn't. A majority of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, is what we refer to as familiar demons. Those are the things that we fight within ourselves. It's our own feelings that we can manifest. Right. Our brain's powerful enough to bring it out. If you were an alcoholic and you're a recovering alcoholic, you still feel that demon inside of you, that you're trying to control. That's basically what it is. Or somebody that was abused when they were younger, they still have that specter over them of that trauma that creates that familiar demon that creates their personality to change because of what happened to them in life. So that's what we fight majority of the times. And there are people, again, there's parts of our mind we don't know what they do. We don't even use them. So who knows? If you think of something enough, it can manifest. They have the theory with the egregores. Enough people think about it. It's there, like, the tall man, whatever, that slim man or whatever. So
Slender Man.
Slender Man. Yeah. You don't know. We don't know how it works. Like I said, I believe things happen. I never put anything out of the realm. All right. But again, I think when we get weirded out or we think, oh, this is crazy weird, just, again, go back to the bloodletting. It's just we're looking at something in our industry that we don't understand yet. So let's look at it in a 360 view. Let's see if we could understand it better so we can move on from that and maybe solve one of the other mysteries of the paranormal.
Yeah, for sure. Like bloodlet, or they used to like give people lobotomies for mental health treatment like 100 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
The medical field has come like leaps and bounds in the last 100 years. It's absolutely insane. As a shaman, how would you, and you get called into a house and you know that the person is possessed, you think there's a possession. How do you, it's not a religious ceremony. Or it's not a religious rite, I would imagine.
Well, the thing is, as a shamanism isn't a religion. I'm very diverse because I don't know who I'm going to be dealing with. So I try and educate myself on all faiths. and all that. Because as a shaman, you're basically helping your tribe or your village, on the medical side of it, the healing side of it, being able to talk to the spirits and the ancestors for guidance and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's just on a larger trajectory now that I could be called into pretty much anywhere in the United States. So if I go in, I want to know what their background is, because that is their vibration. If they're, Catholic and all that, I could go in. I'm going to get a Catholic priest to do the exorcism. I'm going to do what I can at the time. Yep. You have to match that faith, because a lot of times that's what's going to get them through, because that's their belief. That's their spiritual side. We're trying to deal with somebody on the spiritual, the mental, and the physical. We have to get those three things aligned to be able to rid them, whether it be of some certain ceremony. For me, when I go into a home, if there's something going on like that, I don't know what I'm going to say. For me to tell you what I'm going to do, I don't know. I am a conduit. I go in and I put faith into my higher power that they're going to give me the right words, and I'm going to make the right decisions to help rid this person of whatever their affliction is, or just help them with whatever spirits are there, or to talk to the spirits to help them. That's all I really know when I go into a place. I don't complicate it. I don't overdo things. I don't do these crazy, different ceremonies. One big ceremony I will do, and I truly believe in it because it crosses every religion, is calling in the four corners. So when I call in the four corners, it's powerful. And every religion does it in some sort or another. So,
and that's your protection, the four corners?
Yeah, it's the protection. It's the protection of myself. It's the protection of the land, protection of the people within that area that we are trying to help.
Okay. Now you have another title or piece in your bio. The Shaman and the Showman. Is that that's what is that's I seen you guys on the Salem like a few years ago.
Yeah.
One of the fests. What is the Shaman and the Showman?
Well, the Shaman and the Showman is myself and my partner, Charles F. Rosenay, with 3 exclamation points at the end. So we've been at this together for about 5 years now. So we run events. Our big events are the Connecticut Paracon, which is run every second weekend of July. This year it'll be July 11th. So anybody wants to be a special guest, send us, and we're going to pick our special guests for this year. Vendors, if anybody wants to sponsor, we're open to that. That's ctparacon@gmail.com to send us your interest. But we do that. We do the Salem Paranormal and Horror Fest. We also do the Connecticut Witch Trials Festival. We're going to be going into our 3rd year of that. We do a lot of psychic fairs. We do public investigations of places that aren't really investigated that much. So you're getting fresh energy and a fresh perspective. And in those, I like to teach people, let them use the equipment, show them how it works, why this works, why this doesn't work. What's actually working on the.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
They're learning the whole thing.
So then tell me, Tom, what's your go-to pieces of equipment that you're going to bring into an investigation?
Well, for me, if it's something where I'm trying to help somebody in their home, I have to have some kind of spirit box of some sort, because I'm communicating and I want live communication back. I want to validate what I'm feeling. If I'm feeling voices come through, I want them to come in through the other way, whatever ITC device that's working for me at that time. Some stuff works at some places, some stuff doesn't, but ultimately you always want to have that open communication to help.
I know the spirit box is somewhat controversial to non paranormal types. I had my skepticism about it in the past, but I've had some holy shit moments with the spirit box. So I think it's definitely a good form of communication. Another tool. Do you do anything with the lights, the buzzes, or the whistles, or anything fun?
When we're doing public investigations, or if we're doing lives for all the people watching to see, we like to use tripwire. So with the that's fun. One of my favorite things is the dead bell, of course, which is kind of on the newer side. I've
seen that too. I've seen the dead bell and the tripwire. Hey, the tripwire. I saw somebody. I had a guest on who had one, and that's pretty cool. It looks pretty awesome. I
Yeah, it's
recently,
like a string of Christmas lights, and each
yeah,
light is like an EMF detector. So and it changes a certain color to tell you how much milligauss it's giving off.
which is pretty cool because I mean, if you're laying it down flat and turning it on, it's nothing. So I tell
Mhm.
people all the time, like, oh, it was nothing. Now it's something. Could it be electrical? Well, if it was electrical, it would be going off like right from the get go. It'd be like
Yeah,
steady the whole time, but it hasn't been. It's been
yeah.
off.
Well,
You
it
know?
will be. That's what a lot of people miss out on is you have to really check your atmosphere. That's why you really, when people say, "Hey, shut your phone off, put it in airplane mode," because a
Yes.
lot of people don't realize is when the phone signal being sent, you'll have the phone signal sent, and sometimes it hits the tower like every 5 minutes.
Hmm.
So you could have your EMF detector on, and every 5 minutes it does a few milligauss.
Yep.
It's picking up the tower, but your phone's so close, it's creating that interference too. But you have to know how your equipment works. You got to know what's doing it and what's not doing it, to the point where there's a lot of controversy of the structured light sensor camera, the SLS camera with
Yep.
the Kinects and all that. Yeah, most of the time it's nothing. But
Right.
when it validates other equipment, then I'm like, okay, what's going on?
That's cool too. I've had some good experiences with that as well, and some like, it's picking up on the post of the stairway. This isn't actually a stick figure, but in other
Exactly.
situations, it was. So what would you say not to take into an investigation?
I wouldn't. You could take whatever you want, whatever works for you, whatever you're getting. There's always going to be controversy with anything.
Okay.
Who's to say what works and doesn't work? We're frequency. In theory, when we pass, we're vibrating. We're on a different frequency.
Yeah.
We don't know what the other side's doing, how they're able to manipulate things.
Sure.
It's even to the point where I've told people like, oh yeah, that's just that's not a light anomaly. It's just dust. But who's to say that the spirit trying to get your attention created that dust?
True.
You got to take in the context. So
I'm
the
first guy who would dismiss that every single time as dust. People send me videos like, buddy, you got to check this out. This goes to my living room. All right, show me the video. And 9 times out of 10, it's like the baby cam, and it's like you see the flow, going by the camera. I'm like, dude, that's just like the HVAC in your house pushing the dust by your house.
But yeah, then you look those usually. But if I'm on an investigation, let's say, hey, Joe, are you here? Can you give us a sign? And then all of a sudden, dust comes. I can't dismiss that. So
there's been I was at an old mill, and this guy, he brought like 40 recorders and like 200 cameras, which is mind blowing.
The event would be over by the time you got them all hooked up.
Right. It's like, Jesus Christ, when do you have the time to do this? Don't you work for a living? But anyway, he got an EVP, and it was like the camera was facing like this room, and there was this orb, and then it like dotted down and came up like that. But when it dotted down and came up, that was when the EVP came through right in that moment. So we kind of thought that might have been a little bit special, but honestly, 9 times out of 10, I am the guy who dismisses every orb.
Yeah, I've had things go in front of my camera, and then a voice came through at the same time. So yeah, is it something? Is it not something? We don't know. Again, we're never 100% right or wrong about that phenomenon. We should never. I think in my book, I'm never going to say something can't happen. It's it's putting a limit on things, especially in something we don't know.
Right.
None of us could 100% say, okay, yeah, that's an orb.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It might be.
It might be something else. You got to take in the context why it was there at the time. Was the couple in the house fighting in another room, and one of their ancestors was pissed and says, you guys need to stop fighting, and showed itself? I don't know. Those are the things that we don't see when people show us footage or show us a picture. It's like I get people all the time showing, hey, what do you think of this picture? I don't know. I wasn't there. I have to be in the room. If it was a hallway, was there a mirror in that room off the side where the door was open, bouncing the light, making it look like
all the environmental factors that come into play in a photograph are
I don't know.
Limitless. You have no idea.
And again, it goes back to this. Also, the skeptics out there, even my mentors, Ed and Lorraine Warren, I know a lot of people that they're controversial, But a lot of the cases, most of the people making the comments, you weren't there. You didn't experience the environment. You didn't see what was going on. You didn't see this. You didn't see that. That's with any investigator. I'm never going to tell them you're wrong. I wasn't there with you.
Right.
I don't know what you felt. I don't know what energy was put out there. I don't know what questions you were asking. I wasn't there. That's your personal experience. Did you capture evidence? Again, people weren't there, so they don't know the context of the evidence. So
Right.
it's hard to really fully explain it when that happens. So we have to keep an open mind to that, and still be skeptical at the same time.
For sure. One more question before I start to wrap up tonight, Tom. Remember Danny was doing I saw him last summer at a local chicken restaurant here in Rhode Island, Wright's Farm, and he wasn't eating at all. He was on the shaman the shaman fast, the 40 days of night.
Yeah, he was doing just water and all that stuff.
Crazy stuff. Did that come from you? Is that one of your
No, that's something he's learned. He's got a lot of people. There's a lot of us that have been guiding him, but he's on his own journey. We'll give him some ideas, but it has to fit and vibrate with him and what his calling is. And he knows that. So we're there to help guide him with any questions, but ultimately he has to make the decision for his own journey as a shaman. But he's doing fantastic. I just saw him over the weekend. My significant other threw me a huge birthday bash in Connecticut, and a lot of my good friends were there. A lot of people in the paranormal, and my family and friends from high school and college. So it was a great weekend.
Nice.
There's pictures online, but.
Happy belated birthday, Tom.
Thanks. My significant other, she was born on the 30th. I was on the 1st, and of course, my mentor Lorraine was on the 31st. So her and I sandwiched Lorraine, and we're both influenced by her.
Coincidences, or are they really coincidences?
Or are they?
Crazy, dude. Tom, anywhere people can find you or any of the stuff you do, are you on the tube? Are you on the social medias? Are you on the television?
Yeah, I like to hide from everybody now. Yeah. But no, on Facebook it's Thomas Patrick. They'll see my Irish Hitman mug on the picture when they see it, and I got my Peaky Blinders cap on the current picture. Anywhere else, it's at Archangel of the Paranormal. The Shaman and the Showman, Connecticut Paracon, the Salem Paracon, those are all like little sites on Facebook. I do a lot of TikTok stuff, usually a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. Tuesday, I'll do Tuesday morning serial, which will be a little snippet about a serial killer, some funny stuff. And then Wednesdays is word and phrase origins, where they come from. So those are kind of cool. And then I started doing this a while ago. I stopped for a little bit, but now that I live in Ohio, it used to be Weird Spooky Facts of Connecticut. Now it's Weird Spooky Facts of Ohio, where I take like a weird fact or a spooky fact and just let people know the history.
That's kind of cool.
It's fun. So I do those on TikTok. I use TikTok for it, but then I'll post it on all the other social medias like Instagram and all that stuff. So it's fun.
Being out in Ohio, Tom, you're more out in like what's considered Bigfoot country. Any beliefs on the Bigfoot? Is it real? Is it a creature or is it a ghost?
I really don't know. It's funny. I remember I re-looked at it a little bit. I got a friend of mine out of Detroit, John Tenney, and Tenney would always talk about in his talks that maybe we can't capture Bigfoot because he's just a ghost of a Cro-Magnon man or something like that.
Right.
Oh man. So
that would make sense to me. That I could swallow that. I can't swallow 8-Man running through the woods and being a ninja and nobody can find him. I just can't. I just can't grasp that.
Well, maybe he's just somebody from childhood who played hide and go seek and nobody ever found him. He was that good.
All too well.
His blue hair just didn't have any. Didn't want to come out of hiding, so he never shaved.
True,
but could be interdimensional. Could be something that could come in and out of portal. It could be from another planet. Who knows? There's people still believe that there's aliens that have been here since the beginning of time, hiding under the water. Do they really come from outer space, or they've already been here? So there's so many theories.
It's a possibility for sure. There are people that believe that the world is still flat. I don't know about that one, but
if the world was still flat, all the cats out there would have knocked all the shit off the side already.
110%. their freaking tails for sure.
Yeah.
Last question before we wrap up, Tom. Who is going to win Sunday's Super Bowl, and who is going to be the MVP?
I have to say that it's going to be the Patriots.
Mhm.
And just a little punch in the mouth for all the naysayers, it's going to be Drake May.
Good for you, dude. I honestly, I hate to say I hope they win because I really don't. It gives me diarrhea just to think about it, but I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. It's going to be a great game. Go Seattle. But I mean, good for you. Good for you, New England. You guys pulled it through and came back and repicked the division. That was so wonderful. Said nobody.
Everybody hates the Patriots. Look at the voters at the Hall of Fame. They hate the Patriots.
All right, before we wrap up, let me just say what a crock of shit. Not so much the owner, the guy, the rubber tug guy, but Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time, better than Tom Landry, better than any other coach that's ever coached the game, except my guy Don Shula, but better coach than any other coach that's ever coached the game. And you guys don't even put him in the hall on the first run. Like, what the fuck? Come on.
Because of spite, whatever. You still have to win the game, man.
They'll put in.
They were still winning games after that. So
idiots like Cinco Ocho Cinco and just stupid shit, like stupid people like him. But they won't put in Bill Belichick, the winningest coach of all time, second to Don Shula. But like, holy shit. I don't. The NFL clearly dropped the ball on this one. And hopefully he gets in next year at very least.
I don't know. I think after I get off the show, I might have a tuna sandwich just for you.
Awesome. All right, Tom. It's been awesome. It's been a good time. Thanks for showing up tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This week you can tune into the Three Dudes Brews, the last call, as we host Chris Hager, beer connoisseur, German beer connoisseur, great beer guy, great beer friend. You can catch him. We'll be on live Thursday evening at 7 p.m. here on the Bookface, on the Three Dudes Brews Bookface, on the Three Dudes Brews website, on I think on the Gram. I think we'll be live too. Check all that good stuff out. Check us out here on the Ghost and the Goat next week as we welcome Michael Walker. I'm not sure what Michael Walker does at the moment. I'm thinking he's a ghost guy because this is me, the ghost guy, talking. So probably tune in next week for Michael Walker and tune in for Chris on Thursday. For Thomas Patrick, this has been Buddy Say, the Ghost and the Goat. Jay, I hope you're feeling better. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good week, folks. Thomas, thanks again, man.
Yeah, go Pat.